What's going on, boys? No Guys here. Weekly tactics update. We're going to go through all the tactics as usual. Ultra defensive, defensive, attacking, ultra stacking. We're going to go through all the custom tactics and instructions. Don't forget, if I am going too fast, you can slow the video down. If I'm going too slow, you can increase the video speed. Then you can pause it, manipulate it however you want. As usual, we're going to go through the tactics for old gen and new gen, including one of my formations. My favorite formations for this time of the year. Some of you OG guys, FIFA 19 guys will know what I'm talking about. But we're going to go over that as well. Quick question. So the 5-4-1, listen, as I said to you, you can use it. I uploaded Levy's tactics as well. You can use that as well. Look, I'll be honest, at this point, look, maybe when it comes to Ultimate Tots, I may bring it back. But listen, realistically, all you need now, realistically, is 11 wins. Most people now are just playing casually, so it's not even about that anymore until it gets to Ultimate Tots, where everyone wants to retest their ability. But we're going to start off. Look, now I'm playing right now. I'm ultra defensive. I'm playing a 3-5-2. The reason for this is that I can basically double up down the wing, and the way I do this is because this actually defends in a 5-3-1-1. So I normally bring my left centre mid, right centre mid, basically. So what happens is one of these players makes a right centre mid, and it can help me double up against someone who's got, for example, if I Griezmann a Saka there, let's say someone's got like a winger coming back, I can do that. So this is the formation I used to close out the game, but also to start the game with. So it's kind of a bit of a middle ground formation. The way I use it is it's kind of very attacking and very defensive at the same time. So this is the formation that I use. Again, I'm just going to go through this very quickly. Balance 30-47, long ball, forward 125, 7 players in the box. If you're ever curious about any tactics in particular, there's always videos on my channel that explains every tactic in more detail. As I said, I can't make this video half an hour long. I don't think you guys want to watch a Nil Guys documentary. So just keep it short and sweet. But yes, stay central. Stay central and get it behind actually. Stay forward for one of them. Come back in offense for the player that's going to come back and make the midfield 3. Cam on stay forward, very important. Otherwise, the striker won't come back. Both CDMs are cut passing and then instead while taking cover center. Then whichever striker you put, so because I got Saka on come back in offense, he will make, for example, the right centre mid. Brandt will go into the middle, and then Vieira will go to the left centre mid. So be careful. I don't want Brandt to be the central centre midfielder, so I'm going to swap these players around. So it depends which player I would just say, just for ease of use, if you're copying these tactics, put Saka on come back in offense. Saka plays right centre mid, Vieira goes here, and then Brandt stays there, and Saka goes like that. Simple. Left mid, right mid, nothing has really changed. Come back in offense. This should be get into the box for a cross and to get in behind both of those. And the back 3 is fine. If you want to, you can put overlap on these players, but because it's a defensive tactic, I prefer not to. As I said, look, remember that this is an ultra attacking and ultra defensive formation. It's a 2-in-1. It can help me defend equally very well with 2 CDMs back 5, but it can help me attack a lot better as well. So it's up to you how you want to use it. Now, I will normally start the game with this. This 4-2-3-1 here, I use it for both. What it is that if I'm struggling with a 3-5-2 to close out the game, because now the realistic meta is now there's a driven pass. Well, that wasn't meant to happen. Pardon. Driven pass from like the centre mid to the striker. The 3-5-2 is weak against that. The reason for that is because you have 3 centre backs when you're attacking. So that's where the weak point is up against the 4-3-2-1. So that is why with a 4-2-3-1, you have a back 4 and 2 CDMs. It's a bit better defensively for the driven passes to go into the middle. And that is why you might prefer the 4-2-3-1. It's a bit more compact. Now, I made a video on a 4-2-3-1, I believe. As I said, I got like so many tactics, guys, that I need to release. I've probably got like 15, 20 tactics that I just never released. I didn't think they were good enough, but I might release them now. But like attacking variation of the 4-2-3-1, defensive variation, ultra defensive variation of each individual formation. Let me know if you want to see that. But this 4-2-3-1 is very balanced as well. So both the 3-5-2 and the 4-2-3-1, I use them both. The only changes we've made to this, if you're on the higher, I would say Division 3 onwards is probably a bit more evident there, especially if you're in Elite Division. The meta realistically is you're going down the wing, you're doubling up, you're trying to get the ball and you're trying to do a first time shot. So what we have done to counter that, we've left everything the same, balance 37-40, long ball forward 155, both for old gen and new gen, same here as usual. Instructions, the linemen around me, put them both on comeback and defense. This will help. So if your opponent's got like a 5-4-1 at least you got a situation where you can prevent the double up because you'll have a player for every one of he or she's players. So that is the idea about having them will come back in effect. That's why we remove them from being unbalanced. And then of course you've got the CDM as well if you want to bring into the equation. So we've got the striker, stay central, stay forward, get it behind. The cam has to be a second striker here. Although you could get away with Team of the Year, Team Syntated KDB, you ideally want a second striker here. You want like a centre forward striker, someone that can dribble, add on a ball. Again, Lam and Ram, not central players, both wingers, fast players, guys. Come back on offence. I put drift wide, but you don't have to do that. You can leave it unbalanced. Drift wide just makes them as wide as possible. It's good for kind of being a bit more on the defensive side, but also making these players hug the sideline a bit more as well. But you can leave them unbalanced. If you're not used to that, don't worry, leave them unbalanced. This will defend in a 4-4-1-1. We've got the cam on aggressive interceptions. Look, if you have someone like this at this stage of the game, it's not going to make me any difference. But let's say you're playing Seasons and you're playing with Barcelona and you've got gold Messi, not PSG now, you've got gold Messi and Cam, Mbappe and striker. You can remove aggressive. The reason for this is sometimes that cam's on stay forward. I want that cam to be doing something. This actually plays, although it's on paper it says 4-2-3-1, but this actually attacks in a 4-4-1-1 and defends in a 4-4-1-1. And that's the way that it goes. But there are two CDMs. You've got both of them on cut passing lanes, still attacking cover center. The most attacking one, we have that player on balance. That player likes to make that run going forward. And as I said to you 2 weeks ago, no deep line playmaker for both these players unless you're elite level. Because you as I said, with deep line playmaker, you gotta rely on a lot of manual movement. You know, L1 triggers. Again, I wouldn't really touch this unless you're really elite level, to be completely honest. It's only really if you like want those players in really weird places that your opponent wouldn't expect them to be. But if you recycle the ball, they're not going to be there where you think they'll be. Left back, right back, stay back, conservative overlap. So as I said, this will help you against the 5-for-1. So realistically, what happens is I start with this. I'm comfortable with this most of the game, to be fair. And then to close the game out, I would use either both of them. If I am closing the game out, I would maybe just put this to slow build up play and that is it. But I would use one of these two tactics. As I said, I'm using this more against, because there's two metas right now, in my opinion. There's the 5-4-1 meta, and which sometimes I prefer to use the 3-5-2. It depends on how your opponent plays. And then there's the L1 triangle driven pass meta as well. And that's where having the back four, having a 4 versus 3, the numerical advantage, and the 2 CDMs is more beneficial than having a back 3. As I said, the weak thing with this is when you're attacking, although you're very attacking, you defend with 3 defenders in that counter-attacking phase. So more for ultra attacking, ultra defensive, game to game, more for balance to start the game with. But if you're up against someone who's playing purely counter-attack, I will stick with the 4-2-3-1. And against constant pressure, I do use the 4-2-3-1 as well. That's the way I'm using these two formations now. Then we have the 5-2-1-2. Now, this is probably every team in the season, you probably see this video from me, my favorite formation inside the game. Copy these exact tactics, no changes. Maybe you could use long ball, but it kills the formation. Fast put up play. This is what I like to call the flying fullbacks. This formation is more attacking than the 4-1-2-1-2. Probably it's similar to the 3-5-2, very, very similar, except for you don't have CDMs, you've got centre mids, they sit higher on the pitch. And then you've got left backs and right backs. Now, this actually should be on 7, don't know why that's a bit lower. Copy bases, exactly how it is. Corners and free kicks you can adjust however you want to. So if you want to put it on 3, put it on 3. It doesn't make a difference to the tactic itself. Now, stay central, stay forward, get in behind for 1. Same, but come back in defence. Now, this player is not going to come back and make a midfield 3. The game doesn't allow this. But the striker will just sit just behind, ever so slightly just behind the other player. That is that. So don't think of it like this player is going to help when you're defending. It's just that they're not in line. I prefer when same in the 4-2, I like where the striker is kind of like up front, occupying the centre backs, and one player is just a tad bit behind, but with space around him. Cam's on, come back in defence, get into the box for a cross. This player will come back a little bit to help the midfield, but realistically, you're on your own with 2 centre mids here. Both of them on stay back while attacking cover centre. There's no cut passing lanes because they're not CDMs. I put one of them on get into the box for cross. Now, typically speaking, I would recommend putting one of these players on balanced. I would say, however, this makes it a lot more attacking. It makes the formation very unstable because you only have one player to recycle the ball with. You're going to have to decide yourself, depending on your skill level, whether you leave them unbalanced or not. I would recommend stay back and then use the use of L1 triggers to push this player going forward. That would be, in my opinion, the more suitable solution, I would say, because they're always going to stay back, but you push that player forward when you want that player to get inside the box, or you can leave it unbalanced. But I'll both leave them both on stay back while attacking and cover center. The left back and right back, arguably the most important players in this formation, the most important. These guys gotta be more like wingers. You can play the new like a Mendes team of the season, a Frimpong, Hakimi team of the year. You can play those kind of players in these roles, but they're going to be very attacking. They're going to be very, very wide. What's the most important thing is up on the D-pad, and you want to go right. You want to activate, hug the sidelines. The most important thing, these guys are unmarked. Now, actually, for the meta, this is actually the best formation, in my opinion, inside the game, and I'll explain to you why. Because when you're up against a top-tier player, the 5-4-1 is good. But these players are in their own lanes. They're unmarked. So if you have trouble, for example, on the left-hand side and your opponent is doubling up on you, you can pass the ball to your centre mid and then lob the ball all the way to the opposite side to your opposite winger. And they will have acres of space. You didn't hear that from me. But it's broken because if you activate hug the sidelines, they hug the sidelines. They're basically, instead of them being here, they're like this. So when you go forward, you can literally lob the ball to these guys. And if your opponent starts using doubling up on you and you can't get through, then you just go back to your centre mid and you lob it to the other side. And that is why you want both of them on stay back while attacking. Because if one of them goes forward, you lose that outlet player to lob the ball. So ideally decent passer. That's why I play Brant here. Because what I do is I lob the ball, then I go inside the box. But again, you didn't hear that from me. But this is very, very good for the meta because you can literally spend the entire game going back to the centre mid and literally waiting for your opponent to make a mistake while you manipulate the ball, because one time they're not going to catch it. I guarantee you one time they're not going to catch it. They're not going to run back in time. And that is when you go inside the box. First time pass, easy sweat. Then for the back three, we do put these both on overlap. Here, not traditional centre backs, 90 sprint speed plus. You need full backs, centre backs. Here is what I would consider it. And then you need, ideally, I would say wingers. If I had a choice, someone like team of the season Mane, someone like team of the season Mbappe, although he's better up front. But let's assume you had like a perfect situation. Let's say you had like Eusebio, 5-star up front, something like that. I would personally go with those players in this role. You want attackers, 5-star skillers, people that can go from a wide position inside the box. Probably one of the most effective formations, probably even more effective than a 5-4-1 if in the right hands, in my opinion. So this would be more the attacking formation. So realistically you have two, because you can in theory play, see at this stage of the year, team of season cards, you can basically play with anything. I'm going to be honest. So we basically have like a ultra defensive, ultra attacking. We've got one defensive formation, one attacking formation. Then we have the 4-2-4. This is purely the comeback formation. Just copy and paste these tactics. They're literally the same as last week, so I want to save you some time. But again, just feel free to slow this video down or literally just press pause while I'm going through each one and you can copy and paste the tactics. It's simple as that. Again, if you're unsure, I got a video for every single one of these formations on my channel. Otherwise, this will turn into a Neil Guys documentary. And I don't think you guys want to listen to me for that long. But that is the tactics. Let me know what you guys think. The only thing I would say is if you want, you can use direct passing. I prefer forward runs, to be honest. I don't care what the rest of the community is saying with direct passing. Some formations like the 4-3-2-1, direct passing is better. And with the 5-4-1, you could argue direct passing is better. You can argue with those formations. But I personally think forward runs is more attacking, and it is anyway. But that is the tactics. Don't forget, if you want to get better at FIFA, you can come join the FIFA School Series, patreon.com/NoGuides, or you can click, I believe it should be right over here. Don't get better after 1 month. I'll refund your money as a no guys guarantee. Thanks for watching. Take it easy. Of course, catch you next week. Peace.